What's going on, guys? So today we're going to change the oil in the Jeep. Admittedly, I am past due. Uh, so for like the last week, the little oil change required light comes on when I start the Jeep up. Um, I know I've been neglecting to do it. I've just been busy and haven't really had a whole lot of free time. So um, fortunately, you can go 10,000 miles without needing to change the oil on these. So that is nice. I'm still kind of one of those old school guys that likes to do it every 3 to 5,000. Just haven't had the time. So we're going to do that today. I'm going to show you guys how. I'll let you know what tools you need to do it. So starting off, I've got the 3.6, so things might be a little bit different if you've got the 5.7 or the SRT or whatever. So I'm going to show you how to go about doing it for the 3.6. Capacity requirements are going to be different if you've got the 5.7, obviously. So but what you're going to need is OW20 is the oil type that you're going to need for this. The manual recommends full synthetic. I recommend full synthetic just out of personal preference. So that's what I went with. The manual also requires 6 quarts of oil. So we're going to find out. I never dump the full 6 quarts in there. You know, I dump in 5, check it, and just add from there until it reaches max level. So we'll see if it requires all 6 quarts. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. So yeah, so we're going to get started. I'm going to show you guys how to go about doing this step by step. All right, y'all, so the first thing we're going to do is pop the hood and get to the oil filter. So super convenient that they put the oil filters up top as opposed to underneath. So first thing you got to do, we're going to pop this little cover off there, and you can see there's a little bolt here. You can either use a 10mm socket, or I want to say that's a T25 or T30 Torx head. I'm not real sure because I'm going to use a 10mm. So we're just going to pull this off, and then we'll get this whole cover out of here. All right, so we've got the cover off. Like I said, it's super easy. Just have the one bolt that goes right here, the 10mm, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 little pins that just kind of you push it down and it clamps it on there. So you just got to pop those open. You're not going to break it. It's all good. So now we're going to take the filter out. So the filter is located right here and here. So it's not one of those screw-on types. It's actually like an internal type filter. I don't know if that's the correct word for it. But anyways, what you need for this is a 15/16 socket. So we're just going to loosen this up. I would recommend if you have an extension, you should use that to make it easier. It's a little tight space. I mean, if you really wanted to get crazy with it, I suppose you could take the intake off, but that's really not necessary. So I have 15/16 on this big breaker bar just because I can't find an extension at the moment. So that's what I'm going to use. All right, so now we have the cap off, as you can see here. This is what it looks like. Take a look. There is an O-ring in here. We will be replacing that. But now that we've got that out there, you can see this is the old filter. All right, so that's what it looks like. Yeah, it's past due. So we're just gonna take that. We're gonna throw that right there for a minute. So I've got a new filter here. It's not an OEM one. I'm not going to get into what oil filter brand is the best. Some people are super opinionated about that. I don't really care, whatever works. I would have got the Mopar one if they had Mopar in stock, but they didn't, so I got this. So it comes with a filter, and also comes with, you guys can see in the box there, another O-ring. And so that O-ring is going to be for this cap. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and replace this O-ring on here. It should be pretty simple. So I'm just going to use a pick. I'm going to try my best to not damage it or tear it, just in case, the odd chance that when I'm putting the new one in, I screw that one up. I want to be able to at least have a backup plan. So stick with me because it's going to get messy and I can't record this and do it at the same time. Alright, so I got the gasket swapped out, as you can see. So what I did is I took this little pick and I just ran it up underneath the old gasket and kind of worked it around, and as I worked it around I kind of moved it up until it came off. So super easy process. So now I can go ahead and take the new filter and put it in here where it goes. However, I'm not going to close this back up. Whenever I do an oil change, I always try to like vent the whole crank case. So I like to leave the oil cap open, and since I got that open as well, I'll leave that open, just so when I get underneath and open up the drain plug, everything flows out a lot faster and easier. So that'll be the next step. Alright, so the next part is the fun part, and that is getting underneath here and cracking open the drain plug. Now I don't have this up on jack stands. I am fortunately small enough to get up underneath here, but it is tight for me. So if you're a big chested guy or lady, I wouldn't recommend doing this without jack stands. But if you got a narrow like bird chest like I do, then you're probably golden. So I'm trying to get myself in a position here so I can see. All right, so there's the drain plug right there. It's a 13 millimeter. All right, so all you got to do is put a 13 millimeter socket on there, crack it, and then open it up until everything starts coming out. Make sure you got a oil catch can underneath there. All right, so you can see I got the oil draining out. I just opened the plug. You can see that my oil pan is pretty full. Must have a leaf or something blocking it. So we're just gonna let that drain until it stops flowing out. It drained out pretty quickly because I vented it from the top. So I do recommend that. That's just something I like to do. Simplifies the process, makes it go a little bit faster. So we're gonna let that keep going, and then we're gonna close it back up. All right, guys, so I got the oil drain plug tightened back up. For you people that are big into torque specs, the torque spec on the oil drain plug itself is 20 foot-pounds. You don't want to over tighten that for sure and risk cracking that pan. I didn't torque it down. I just hand tight it and give it a little oof, you know, with the socket, call it good. But torque spec 20 pounds if you guys are doing that. So there's also a torque spec for the oil filter cap itself. It's actually, I can't get it to show up on here. It's hard to see, but it's actually listed as 25.5 Newton meters. Why they used Newton meters, I don't know. Maybe people use that. I never deal with that. So I did a conversion. Hey, there it is right there. Yeah, 25.5 Newton meters. So the conversion is 18.8 foot-pounds. So if you guys are into torques and you want to make this all to spec, 19 foot-pounds. Call it 19 foot-pounds and you're good to go. So anyways, quick cap on that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little thing here. I'm trying to point. There we go. And I'm going to start filling it up with 5 quarts oil, and then we will go from there. So I ended up putting 5.5 quarts in. I put the first 5 in and I checked it. I didn't start it up and, you know, run it, get it hot or anything like that, but I checked it and it was still a little low. So I put another half quart in there. I know that the manual says 6 quarts, but I never ever put in the full recommended amount initially, just because I don't want to put in too much oil. So I'd rather run it just a little bit less than what it's required and then double check it once it gets hot. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and start this up, let it run for a few minutes, let the oil get hot, and then we're going to check it, and we'll probably end up having to add the other half quart, but that's no big deal. Well, while we're waiting for this to heat up, I'm going to show you a couple things like navigating on the dashboard here. So right now I've got it on the speedometer. Most of you guys probably already know this. You know, you can change your menu options with this up, down, left, right. I don't know that the Konami code works on this, but you know, it'd be interesting to find out. So that's a joke. Anyways, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna scroll down to go to our vehicle info. Disregard the tire pressure light on my passenger rear tire. When I got the new wheels and tires, I had them swap over the old tire pressure sensors, and that one apparently does not work. So keep scrolling to the right. You can see this is our trans temp. Our oil temp is 140 degrees, so it is slowly climbing. And you can see we're not quite up to full operating temperature yet. Scroll over one more time. You can see our oil pressure. So 31, 32 is not bad. That's pretty much where we want it to be. Give it a little gas just to play with it. Watch that go up. Yeah, that's fun. Yay, exciting. So we'll scroll over one more time to the right. So this is your oil life. It says hold OK to reset. I cannot reset it with the engine running. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this to get up to temperature. I'll finish capping off the oil, and then I'll show you guys how to reset your oil light. All right, so I did add the other last half quart, so I do have 6 quarts of oil in here, and everything looks good. So I noticed when I was putting this back on, I was wrong. There's that clip right there. This doesn't actually clip into it. So there's another one over here. So when I showed you guys earlier how this goes into place, I was wrong about that. My mistake. But so yeah, you put it on here and basically just give the old hammer fist over each one of these little posts, and it cinches that on there. So now it's pretty tight. Get your old 10 millimeter out, tighten it down, and then throw this back on there, and you're good to go. All right, so now we're going to reset the oil life. One thing I didn't mention earlier, I guess, that I should probably mention, I just kind of assume it's general knowledge. When you start the car up after you change the oil, just double check everything for leaks. I didn't mention that. I did it, I just didn't mention it. But yeah, you want to make sure that everything's on there tight. So let's see here. So we don't want the engine to run. We just want to put this in run mode. So we're going to push our little button here until it's in run mode. It's going to be do all this cool stuff and just be annoying. Yeah, we know. So we're going to scroll down to, yeah, we know, we just did it. Give it a second here. So we scroll down to the vehicle menu. Yeah, I'm aware. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go over to our oil life, hold OK to reset. So we're doing that right now, and what do you know? We are back at 100%. It's that easy. Definitely the easiest oil light reset I've ever experienced in a vehicle. All right, guys, so that's it. We are done with the oil change. Everything is good to go. So hopefully this helped you guys out. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, I guess give it a dislike if you want. That's up to you. Or leave a comment. Tell me what you didn't like about it. You know, I do a lot of this stuff on my phone. So, you know, this isn't I'm not here to make money. I'm just here to share my experience with people. So, but yeah, stay tuned. There'll be more stuff that comes up. You know, I do a lot of my own maintenance, or try to. So as things break over the years, I'm sure there'll be a video coming. So anyways, hope you guys have a blessed day, and we'll catch you on the next one.